The European tractor market ended the first quarter with a slight drop compared to the same period last year. According to the findings of CEMA, the Committee of European Manufacturers, a total of 39,800 units were registered in Europe between January and March, down 5.3% from 2021. The figure is therefore not too far off the levels reached last year when several European countries had seen record increases. The setback at the beginning of 2022 affected all major national markets. Germany and Great Britain recorded negative 6.1% and a negative 6.8% respectively. Spain declined by 7%, while France remained at the same level as 2021, with a 1.8% drop. The Italian market trend in the first 3 months of 2022 mirrors the trend recorded at the European level. The data on registrations supplied by the Ministry of Transport and processed by FederUnacoma showed a drop in sales of 9.9% between January and March, with 5,400 units sold. The drop in the first quarter is also due to the record figures recorded in the same period of last year, when registrations grew by 57.6%. However, the closing balance for the first 3 months of 2022 is positive for both 2020, a positive 42%, and 2019, a positive 21%. Registrations also slowed down for other types of machinery, with declines ranging from 26.8% for combines to 8.2% for trailers. Agricultural machinery companies must adopt flexible strategies to face the raw materials emergency in an international situation characterized by strong tensions. This is what emerged from the work of the 4th edition of the FederUnacoma think tank, which took place on the 31st of March in the setting of Dal Ara Stadium in Bologna, and which dealt precisely with the issues relating to the geopolitical scenario and the commodity crisis. We are facing a very unstable situation that could last for years. Never before has it been so necessary for the Italian agro-mechanical industry to work as a system, showing itself to be competitive even in new markets, said the president of FederUnacoma, Alessandro Malavolti, opening the plenary session.
Dall'evoluzione di questa guerra che purtroppo ci ha colti anche abbastanza all'improvviso.
Global food security and production in the next years will depend on the consequences of the war between Russia and Ukraine. Agricultural mechanization, as many other Italian industry sectors, is an energy-intensive industry. This means that energy-related costs, such as electricity and gas, have a high and direct impact on our activity. The conflict in Eastern Europe is largely responsible for a sharp rise in the price of commodities, such as steel, which has triggered a severe inflationary process that is affecting us and our customers. Therefore, we need to be very responsive to the signs coming from the market. We must be clever enough to understand them and to respond very quickly. In this context, explained geopolitics expert Dario Fabri, speaking at the think tank, our country must diversify its commodity supply channels as the sanctions against Russia are likely to last for years. Coma Garden Morgan figures on sales of garden machinery and equipment in 2021 were released in March. Last year, Coma Garden points out the market grew by 14% in 2020 with over 1.6 million units sold. From self-propelled vehicles to motorized equipment and hand tools, all the main types surveyed are showing a positive trend, starting with trimmers, which are up 21.6% with over 105,000 units sold. Double-digit increases were also recorded for chainsaws, a positive 15.1% to the tune of 430,000 units, and lawnmowers, a positive 12.9% to the tune of about 325,000 units, while smaller increases characterized brush cutters, a positive 6.1% to the tune of 304,000 units. One of the most dynamic segments of the market was snowplows, which returned to growth, a positive 76.6% with 7,300 units, after 3 consecutive years of decline. The only segment bucking the trend was that of sprayers, which dropped by 33.8%, with 5,089 units sold. The 45th edition of AIMA International, the World Exhibition of Agricultural Machinery taking place in Bologna from the 9th to the 13th of November, was presented during a press conference held on the 27th of April by FederUnacoma at FIMA Zaragoza. The Bologna event, it was stressed during the press conference, has always been a reference point for Spanish buyers and manufacturers, whose numbers have grown significantly over the past few years. Also because, as was said during the meeting with journalists, Spain is the 4th destination market for Italian exports of agricultural machinery, with an overall value that in 2021 reached 277 million euros, equal to 4.9% of all Italian exports of agricultural machinery.